My name is Abigail. I'm the host of the Cradle to Crayon show on Sunny 88.7 FM. Starting this February, join me on Sunny TV as I bring to you the Cradle to Crayon show every Friday morning from 9:30 to 10 a.m. I host gynecologists, pediatricians, pediatric nurses, clinical psychologists, midwives, speech therapists, and so many as we discuss on issues pertaining to women and children, even the family inclusive. Don't forget, it's a Cradle to Crayon show right here on Sunny TV every Friday morning from 9:30 to 10, and a repeat broadcast on Saturdays from 9:30 to 10. We'll talk on issues that you want to hear about your children and issues on women. Stay tuned. My name is Abigail. I'm the host of the Cradle to Crayon show on Sunny 88.7 FM. Starting this February, join me on Sunny TV as I bring to you the Cradle to Crayon show every Friday morning from 9:30 to 10 a.m. I host gynecologists, pediatricians, pediatric nurses, clinical psychologists, midwives, speech therapists, and
25, the last working day in the month. We thank God Almighty for how far He has brought us this year. My name is Abin. I welcome you all to Cradle to Crayon show right here on Sunny 88.7 FM. We're live across the world on www.sunnyfmgh.com. We say thank you to our sponsors, Yasha Collections, Back Specialist Hospital and Fertility Center, and Secure Sanitary Pad. In the course of the show, we'll open our full lines. Now this morning I have here a speech and language therapist. She was here 2 weeks ago. Want to learn about play and language development. Want to know how play actually supports or impacts the children as they are developing language. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll continue. Stick and stay.
You are all welcome to Yasha Collection. We're doing all kinds of career costume, character costume, continental costume, and Santa Claus dresses for kids. We also have kids career costumes for doctors, lawyers, soldiers, pilots, police, firefighters, immigration and custom, suits, and many more. We also do wholesaling and retailing of graduation gowns and school cadet uniform. We are located at Carnation, close to Church of Pentecost, Central Assembly, Kaswa branch at the High Tension on the Bodrasi Road, and Kumasi Ejisu branch at NTK Plaza, Ejisu Zongo Junction. Call us on 0249 158 087 or 050 404 0443.
Right here on Sunny 88.7 FM, also live on Sunny TV and also on our Facebook pages, Cradle to Crayon Facebook page and also Sunny FM Facebook page, brought to you by Yashag Collections. Now for all the costumes you want for the children, name it. For that you want costume for pilots, for soldier, for nurse, fire service officers, lawyers, medical doctors, surgeons, whatever it is, just name it. Yashag will supply. It also have accessories for the career categories. They do rental of graduation gowns and school cadet uniform. They do wholesaling and retailing. Locate them at Kanishi, close to Church of Pentecost, Central Assembly. They are in Kaswa High Tension, the Bodrasi Road. They're also in Kumasi, Ijusi Zongo Junction, NTK Plaza. Call them on 0249 158 087 or 0504 is also very long, making it suitable for both day and night use. The top sheet is made of high quality pearl cotton to offer extra comfort with no irritation, and most importantly, it's very affordable. Check out every pharmacy, all the shops, wherever it is, as in for secure sanitary pad. Our WhatsApp line is 0540 130 684. It's the same calling link. The cost of the show will pin our 4 lines. My guest this morning is Finula Equia Adrefi Ama. She's a speech and language therapist with Awa too. Good morning, Finula.
Good morning, Abigail.
It's good to have you back here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, yes. So, play and language development. I want to find out, play, is it something innate or something that we learn? Is it inborn?
Play is not inborn. You'd have to learn to play. Okay. So as children grow, they have certain reflexes, certain skills that help them to develop play. So as parents, as caregivers, it's our duty to engage children in play, to help them learn to play. So play is not inborn. You'd have to learn to play.
Okay. Usually, at what age does play start and when does it end? Because you know you have older kids who will still be playing. When does it start? When does it end?
So play starts when the child is born and ends. I'll say it doesn't end.
Is it infinite?
Yes, it's infinite, because even as adults, we always have a way to entertain ourselves, because play is any activity that's supposed to bring you enjoyment or some form of excitement. So I won't say it ends, but it changes as we grow. Yes, so for children, for babies, newborn babies, they have their way of playing. As they age to about 3 months, they also have their way of playing. From 3 months to like a year old, they still have their way of playing. As they grow older, it's just the kind of play that changes.
Okay.
Yes.
So at every level, there's a different pattern,
different kind of play. Yes, that's supposed to develop in a child.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But so let's say for older kids, the play does not necessarily help in building their language, or it still does that.
It still does, because you learn new things as you play, new vocabulary, new things will be said. You learn how to work your way around things. Okay. Yes, so it still helps you to develop. Develop language as you grow, as you're growing. Yeah.
But that means let's look at the role play plays in developing the language of the children.
So I already mentioned that every stage of a child has its kind of play. So a newborn would be lying in his cot, throwing his legs about. You think it's just one of those things, but it's a kind of play for the child. It's helping build their motor skills and all that. As they grow older, they engage in one important kind of play, which is pretend play. So pretend play sort of helps build the child's imagination, help them to use language. So they are in a setting with their friends, and they have some balls, they have some balls, they have some dolls around. Okay, we say we want to bath the baby, so bring the baby's dress, let's bath baby's back, let's do all those things. So it helps build a child's language by building their vocabulary, building their social skills. It also builds their thinking abilities, their cognitive skills, their problem solving skills. So you realize that baby's hand is turned the other way around. A child will try to turn it to look like how a normal baby is supposed to look like. So it helps build their language, it builds their confidence as well. It builds their problem solving skills, as I said, and critical thinking skills as well. So depending on the level of play the child is engaged in, it has its own benefits for the child.
Okay, so you mentioned building vocabulary.
Yes.
So it's more of like the words that you're acquiring to put in your sentence.
Yes.
Okay, does it come with dialect as well?
Yes, so the dialect you are playing in just builds that language. So if I'm playing and I'm using tree to play with my doll, it means that I'll learn a lot of tree languages.
Okay.
My friend will say something in tree that I do not know. And if I don't know what a tiko is, at that moment I learn to know what a tiko is.
Okay.
So depending on the language you are playing in, that builds the vocabulary of that language you are playing in. Yes.
You know, talking about language, it brings to mind, I want to know your take on this. Now, there's this, we have older aunties who are now blaming parents that you don't really speak in the local dialect with the children. It's more like English. And the excuse you give is that when they go to school, they'll learn the English. What's your take on that?
school will teach English, but it doesn't mean that the role of the parent in teaching the child the local language also, or teaching the child English will stop. So in as much as the child will learn English in school, you also have the chance to use your local language to teach the English as well. I'm not saying that you abandon one and teach the other. You can learn both languages. Multilingual children are very very smart children. So being multilingual helps the child actually. So if I say that, okay, you learn the English in school, so let me leave you to learn the English and then the local language, but they come home and they still speak English with their children at home. So where does the local language come in? So we'll have to make a very conscious effort to teach both. If you want your child to learn English and your local language, you have to speak both of them with your child. And it helps them to understand, because if you already know a word in English and you don't know it in a local language, you say it in English and then you give them that word in the local language, and then they understand that, okay, this is what it means in my local language. So if I have to use it to make a sentence in another time, I can still do that. They don't speak it because they don't have enough vocabulary. So the result to the one that comes easily, which is English. So we also have to make a collective effort to teach all the languages we want them to learn. They can learn as many as they can.
Okay.
Just let's expose them to it. We don't stop.
You know, they say like
language,
when you go to a certain age, you can't speak
a new language. I don't think that is true. It all depends on the exposure you get.
Exposure.
Yes, because if I want to learn French and I'm sitting in my office not speaking to anybody,
there's no one speaking French.
No one speaking French. There's no way I can learn French. Okay. But if I have French people around, they speak English, translate it to me. I read French books, look at what they mean in English. It helps me to build the language. I may not be as fluent as a native speaker, but I will be able to communicate in a new language which I haven't, I didn't grow up with. Yes. Personally, I didn't grow up as a Ghana person, but now I can speak Ghana because I live in a Ghana community. I have people around who spoke Ghana with me. They encouraged me. No, you are saying this in Tree. No, we don't understand it. Find it, yes, find it in Ghana and say it. So it helps. It's all board games, the Ludo, the Owaris that we used to play, helps with interaction, helps the children with counting, helps with colors and all that. But we have abandoned all those. I realize that there's even a Ludo game on phone. But it's like you're playing with the phone. You know you are losing and then somebody's behind you cheering you on. No, don't do this. Count this way. You don't get that experience if you're playing Ludo on a phone. So it's different. The world has changed though, but if you want to make an effort to relive how we used to play, we could play it out as we want to, and not just go with the changes that have come. The change is good, but we also have to understand that it also comes with negative aspects of it, and then it affects us in a lot of ways, especially the language development of children, and then social interaction.
It's just 15 minutes on top, but I have here Finula, the speech and language therapist with Awawa too. Thank you to our sponsors, Asha Collections, Back Specialist Hospital and Fertility Center, and also Secure Sanitary Pad. Our phone lines have been open. I'm to call it 0540-130-684, 0540-130-684. It's the same WhatsApp line. You do that, and then Finula here will answer your question. Okay, so there's a question here saying, what's the importance of play in a child development? I think that has been mentioned already. Okay. What are some forms of play?
So we have, I already mentioned that pretend play, which is very important, and then we have what we call symbolic play, which allows children to use imaginations again, but this time they are playing with things that are not the actual objects, but they still find a way to play with them as if they were the actual things. So the child has a cooking set, has nothing to cut in or make ingredients for cooking. He has Play-Doh. What does she do? She gets the Play-Doh, rolls it up, gets a knife, cuts it up, and tells you this is meat. I'm frying chicken. Puts it in the bowl. So they are using the Play-Doh to represent the chicken or whatever they intend to fry. So in that sense, they are using their cognitive skills, because they understand that, okay, I don't have the chicken, I don't have fried yam to fry, but because of the play we are engaging in now, I'm cooking yam for my dolls. So let me just pretend or use this as a symbol to fry something and give to them. So they put it in front of them. They even pretend to take their hands to your mouth just like they are eating. So all these forms of play are part of the kinds of play that we have. There's functional play where you're actually playing with the things as they are used for. So I have a toy track or a train track. So you move around the track, you're making the sounds choo-choo, going around and all that. Or you have, I'm trying to think of the very local things, the things we can really relate to.
It looks like there's not much of local stuff, or it's all on that tablet and all.
Yes, so I'm just trying to, just so somebody says, okay, but these things are for the Westerners and all that, but we will still be able to engage in these kinds of play with the things that we find around us. You can get, I'm sure when we're small, you get, if your mommy has a cooking pot, they can make a smaller version for you, a smaller coal pot for you and all that to help you
even
play.
use a tin, the empty milk tin.
Yes,
and all
the empty
that.
milk tin will be more of the symbolic play because you don't have a coal pot. But if they have provided us a mini coal pot for you, a mini that is saying for you, you can do all those things, and then you are playing, but you're using the actual things to play. So it helps build language. As I said, it helps build language.
That same goal for children with special needs, or theirs is different when it comes to their play and then language development.
So for children with special needs, I already mentioned that certain skills have to be developed for a child to learn to play. But because some of them are delayed in acquiring these skills, it also affects their play skills. So if a child's physical ability is hindered, it means that they won't be able to move around like other children. Let's say a child who has a physical disability that prevents him from going around to play, won't be able to run around and do the running around games that we all do. And sometimes because of their cognitive delays, the delay in their cognitive development, they're unable to apply like the symbolic play I spoke about. They won't be able to understand that, okay, this is how I can play with this toy. If I don't have it, I can replace it with this toy. And then they also delay in acquiring the skill to do pretend play. So they, even with the actual toys, you give a child, a special needs child, a car, and they are banging it. Yes, because
that's their idea of play.
Yes, that's their idea of. It's just because they haven't understood that this is a car, and that this is how I should play with it. I can move it, push it back, push it to what they do as they play. So their play is always affected in a way, but we will have to help them and model these things to them, and then in so doing, we can also build their language, build their confidence, build their thinking skills, and build their thinking skills, and build their social skills as well.
Now we have this question.
Social skills as well.
Now we have this question. It's coming from Aaron. He's saying, how does play contribute to a child's cognitive, social, and emotional growth?
Okay, so I think I've mentioned a little on that. So I'll talk about the emotional growth, because cognitively I've spoken about how you use symbolic play, your problem-solving skills to play in certain instances. But when it comes to emotional growth, when you're playing with a partner, a child is playing with another person, because it's pretend play, they learn to understand the other person's emotions. Even if the child is playing with a doll and the doll falls down, they understand that, oh, you realize the child says, oh, sorry, just like they would do to a human being. Yes, so it helps them. So they also learn that, okay, when I hit this person with a toy, the person didn't like it, so okay, then I shouldn't be hitting. The person cried, so it helps them to.
There are some institutions like schools that don't really have playgrounds.
Some don't have at all.
They don't have at all. Even their car park out is so small, there's always traffic on the stretch. And then when they speed, they wear their PE to school, but there's no really physical activity. So what's your take on that?
I believe that aside the classroom work, children also have to explore. You can't explore just sitting in class. Running around, just the health aspect of it, the fact that running around builds their muscles, it helps them to develop fine gross motor skills. You are jumping, we are skipping, we put an obstacle course there, you have to go through a tie, you have to jump for something, you have to slide down, and all these things help build their physical develop. Yes, it helps with their physical development. So outdoor play is very important. But in the case where you can't have outdoor play, you can still make room in the class. Push the desk aside and make room. Recently I saw a video of a school where they were learning sentences, but they, the hopscotch, the sumantu, that yes, they have arranged the words on the ground, for the children to hop on them, and this is like the school hallway. They may not have space outside, but they have made use of the indoor, yes, to at least get them to jump, hop, and in that sense, they are also learning English because it's just teaching them how to sort of conjugate the verb to be. So I am. So you stand on I. There are different words there. You look for am, jump on arm. You look for you. What does you go with you are? So you have created space for it. So outdoor play is important. If it's not available, we make room for it too. Yes.
Sometimes at some point, some parents will say, don't go and play, you're going to make yourself dirty. You just wear the dress, you come back and you are dirty. But how do you encourage them to play so they can develop their language in all that you said?
So let them make themselves dirty. Let them explore. It's their children. That's the only way they can learn. Because I've mentioned earlier, when they do all these things, they are building mental images. They are learning, they are problem solving. They are exploring. I think the key word is they're exploring. So let's just allow them. At a point, you would have to let them understand that, okay, you can play outside with your friends, go and jump, do this, but you should also learn how to keep yourself clean. The fact that I'm playing in the playground doesn't mean that I can just roll in the sand for no reason. Sometimes we also have to talk to them and let them understand that you are playing, but don't make yourself dirty. But if they do, we just caution them and then encourage them. Because when we do that and we prevent them from playing, it means that we're also preventing them from enjoying certain benefits that come with play. So I plead with the parents, just allow them, let them be children.
Apart from play, what everyday activity helps foster their language development?
A lot of it. So the routine activities, eating, taking a bath, driving to school, walking to school. So I'm bathing for my child, and I say, okay, raise your hand. Raise your right hand. He raises his left hand. I said, no, this is your right hand. Raise your right hand. So they are learning that, okay, this is my right, this is my left.
Play, but this
is also a form of play.
Okay.
So sometimes you can just put the soap, put the lather somewhere, okay, fetch it yourself and wash. He washes, okay, you put it another place, fetch it. Because you can even do this for a child who doesn't like taking showers, because now they feel like, okay, when I go into the bathroom, I get to interact with my mom in a very playful way. So it doesn't always have to be, okay, let's get toys and come and play with it. Even the everyday activities we do can help us and play with our children and engage them and build their language as well.
Okay. The other question says, has the growing focus on STEM education led to a decline in traditional games that enhance language development in children?
Yes, it has. As I said, the world is changing. We are moving more into a technological, more science-based era. But it shouldn't be the case. The fact that we are learning technology, we are learning engineering, we should also still make it playful as we can. And also not forget what we used to do that built us. Because honestly, for those older ones, we all attest that the things we engaged in helped us.
It was fun.
Yes, it was fun. Yeah. It was fun. So we could also incorporate
for like
that
30
fun.
minutes, 1 hour, you still have not found it.
Yes.
You search everywhere.
And you are still thinking. I'm sure you are eating. They call you to go and eat, and you're still thinking of where that thing could be hiding. Yes. So it was fun, but the world is growing, as I said. We can't do away with the technology. We also have to go with it, but we shouldn't also let it affect the things that benefit us as parents, as a nation, as the world.
Okay. It's just a minute to wrap up. Your closing words, your final words to parents who want their kids to go out. If you play, make yourself dirty. So stay indoors, don't go out and play.
So staying indoors would help the child. If being indoors, you're still able to incorporate outdoor games indoors. Maybe you may not have, you live in an apartment where there's no space to go and play outside. You could invite other friends to come around. Find something in one corner for them to do. Push your